All right, so board, first of all, I just want to wish everybody a Happy New Year and let everybody know it's been a very difficult 2016. I was working with some mentors in the town that I deeply respect, as well as with Mr. Hederman, and really tried to take care of the chaos that was taking place in my home life. And I just want to reset everybody's expectations that this is the second time that I presented to the board, and the first time that I presented to the board was actually at the recommendation of the ordinance committee. So I didn't come in complaining or have any issues. What I did is I presented to the ordinance committee on 4 topics that I wished for the town to consider as ordinances, because I went for month after month talking to the police officers who said there's nothing we can do, we can't do anything, it's legal, talking about such things as a Class F vehicle park, a portable storage facility. Well, so after that, after I presented to the board, I filled out a grievance, and then I got Ed's letter, first letter, and I want to go into that a little bit. So what I'm trying to accomplish here is to get you all up to speed where we're at, talk about some new interactions that have taken place, and some current events, and then, if you got a problem, I always like to propose solutions, and I have a proposal for Mr. Hederman to consider. So, first of all, how many of you all board members are aware that I set up a drive for you on Google Drive? Okay, so what I did when the process really started getting ugly, I set up a Google Drive for you all. And if you're interested in me resending emails to you so that you do have access to this drive for, I can't present all this information to you every time. But the drive right now consists of 16 photos, 6 videos, including I'm going to use the name Mocknick. I'm referring to James Mocknick at 2207 West Fairview Avenue. Blowing leaves into my yard, a water incident, and moving the garbage can. I'll talk to you all about that in a little more detail. Three PDFs, including a peace offering letter that I had written on when I was really busting my mind on, I got to take care of this problem. And I wrote a heartfelt letter to Mocknick saying, you know what, I can't do your demons and my demons. The Creator knows the truth, I know the truth, and you know the truth, but I'm telling you, I'm not here to battle. And I have yet to deliver that because incidences just keep happening. And along with that, I also bought 2 peace, and I showed Officer Ellers this, 2 peace signs. He likes doves, and they have doves on them. And I said, I got one in my house, put one in yours. That's never been delivered. I also have a copy of the letter that I wrote to the chief, extending my gratitude for everything that his officers are putting up with, their nonstop visits. They're about as tired as it is with me. However, every officer, I did ask the chief to notify his staff of this. Every officer that, since I wrote that letter, that did come to my home, I said, did you get a copy of this? No. Not one officer had a copy of that letter that I wanted to just let them know that I'm working in the most positive fashion possible. There's the PowerPoint that I shared with you all already, talking about the poisoning incident. And then the latest incident, which happened on December 22nd at 12:46 a.m., can be found on YouTube. And I made a video out of everything, and you just, you know how President-elect Trump had Crooked Hillary? Well, Mocknick is now #JailbirdJimmy. And I purposely use that to, draw awareness to this, but if you go to YouTube and just search #JailbirdJimmy, there's a 9-minute, 43-second video of everything that I'm putting up with. And what it ultimately was is he took a snowbank and he drove 2 snowbanks in front of my garage. Against the court order that he can't trespass on my property, he did it at 12:46 a.m., and I have his vehicles going down Reed Road with their lights off, his car, he's leaving with his lights off, just unbelievable.
You have video?
Yes, on my home video. And so you'll see the video. you can't believe the amount of time I put this. I had to go slow-mo to get everything, but I knew once I saw the snow piles there that it was him. So, if I may just kick off, we talked about the open issues, and the first meeting with Ed, and I got to tell you, I was taken back, Mr. Chairman, Ed Hederman. Ed was kind enough to show up at my house on his anniversary. He spent 3 hours at my house, and it was totally him going above and beyond the call of duty. But you said three things when you delivered my letter to me. You said you have to be careful when you're the victim to not become the villain. You said you want me to read. You said you're not going to like what I'm going to read, or what I'm going to read, and then you asked me to read everything line by line by line while I was in front of you. To me, everything there was very calculated. And then I walked away after that meeting going, feeling bad about myself, because I love Johnsburg. I try to get involved in the community right away, as you're aware, Mary Lou, and John, you're aware. And I felt like I'm sitting here trying to, fight for my right to a peace. They call it right to peaceful enjoyment. And, if the people in this room feel that I'm being a villain to this town, trying to fight for my right to peaceful enjoyment of my property and my household and my safety, all I can say is so be it. So, in your letter, Mr. Hederman, you wrote cited. And when you say cited, what did you mean by that? I mean,
John was with me, Tim, and we're not holding court here right now. You can present your
all right.
to the board.
I understand. All right.
Okay, go ahead.
And so, bottom line is, it said in the letter that there were 3 citations written. And since this is August 19th, since August 19th, I first found out in mid-November that there were actually I found out earlier, but the town finally admitted that there wasn't a single citation written. So Ed's letter came back to me and said, I understand the problem on the Class F vehicle. It was cited and moved. The portable storage facility was was cited, moved, and recited, so 3 times. Well, in the second letter that came out, it was, actually there were notices of violations written, 2 of them, and you failed in your FOIA request to ask for notices of violations, which I didn't even know existed. I'd never even heard of a notice of violation. And that when you were advised by the police records clerk that there were notices of violations written on the citations that I was looking for, I decided not to pursue it. Now, I ask you all, if you would have told me that there's notice of violations written, all I have to do is fill out a FOIA request and say, can I have them, please? I hope I don't come across as a guy that's not going to kick over a stone if it needs to be kicked over, right? I'm going to find everything. So the last discrepancy along that, so not only were there no citations, which I begin to look like a villain because I'm asking for citations, there are no citations, there's 3 citations written, but then actually when it comes back to me, there's only 2 notices of violations. So if a portable storage facility was cited, moved, cited again, there's 2, and then the class of vehicle, there's three violations. Well, why aren't there 3 notices of violation? Where did the third one come from? And these are discrepancies that I'm still left with, and it boggles my mind. All right, so current, the temporary structures. The temporary structure has been moved, but at the bottom of the notice of violation, it said, there was a notice of violation written on August 10th, okay, that all this garbage that was across, it had to do with wood piles, tarps, you name it, it was out there, right? It looked like Sanford and Son, literally. It said 7 days to remedy violation. Okay? That was August 10th. A police report was written on 9/13 that said 14 days or citation will be issued. That's 3 months ago. So I'm going back and forth trying to figure out why is he not getting cited? What was everything written for? Well, in talking to Claudette, and Ed, thank you for pointing me to Ed, and just for to Claudette, and just for the record, Claudette's been absolutely a blessing, because I know everybody's got full-time jobs, but she's taken the time to really listen to all the discrepancies that I'm trying to point out and I'm trying to lay out in my mind, because I don't want to make accusations, but I do want the facts, and I do want the truth. So she came back and she said, Tim, turns out that the police department decided not to enforce it. They talked to Mocknick and, nope, that's it. And I said, well, how do they determine, Mocknick is saying something and they determined to walk away from citations or violations? She said they shouldn't do it. She's going to work with the police chief and, to work on something. And okay, so then she says she's going to get back to me. She gets back to me on November 28th and actually says, sorry, it was December 22nd, and says a third notice of violation for the same, everything that we're talking about here. A third notice of violation was written, and then Mocknick came in and asked for a 2-week extension, and it was granted. So she said a 2-week extension and would be issued a citation on December 22nd. Today is what, January 3rd? The stuff's still out there. This morning was when he first started moving stuff in the truck, but everything is out there and been out there. So if you go to the town ordinances, there's supposed to be something called penalties, and each day a violation penalty. I want to know why this guy's not getting cited, who's making the decision not to cite him, and who's making the decision to extend it and not hold him accountable. Because the problem is he's going to continue. So, and another problem is there was a false allegation, he called the police on me one time over a water incident, and I was given a $400 battery charge. Like that, no notice of violation. He broke into my house, it was my word against his word. He says that my power washer, which I was using to water my bush from a safe distance, broke his skin, and I was given a $400 citation. The officer told me two things. He said, one, I have to, and it says right in the police report, I have got to give you a citation because Mocknick is adamant about it. And I'm like, so Mocknick tells you what to do? Yes. And the other thing he said is, if I don't cite you, my boss, which is the chief, will be mad at you. And I'm like, why is the chief mad at you if you don't cite me? So that thankfully was dismissed. But again, no notice of violation, no extension, nothing for me, but I got a $400 citation. Current issues, and thank you for your patience. I tried to net this out as much as possible, folks. I have 3 false allegations, and so I can deal with Mocknick's petty antagonism. You all don't understand it unless you've been there. And actually, John and Ed were there one day to see the stuff outside of my dining room window where there was a tractor, he took everything from the portable storage facility and shot it right outside my kitchen window where I watched the birds and put it right there. Power washers, everything else. It's in the video on the G drive. However, I said I can deal with it. He's not bringing any ordinances. If he wants to make his yard look like garbage, that's fine. But what I cannot get away from is the police. If the police knock on my door, if the police do something, I have to answer it. And every time my personal life is getting disrupted. Now, for example, water. I took off, at the end of this summer, I took off out of my boat lift, and I have to, no matter what, my boat backs up to the south and the river goes to the south. So even if I want to go south, I have to go north. So I went north and I turned around and I was having a terrible day of home officing. Yeah, keep in mind, all this stuff is going on where I work too. So I'm getting this 24/7, right? I go and I took all my work stuff and I just parked in Dutch Creek all by myself. Beautiful sunset. I'm like, I got to clear my mind. I got to focus, and I was studying. And all of a sudden, here comes McHenry Boat Patrol. McHenry Boat Patrol says, "Follow me, or you're going to be arrested." And I said, "Well, first of all, I'm not following you. And why am I getting arrested?" the other officer comes out, he goes, "That's a nice boat you got there." I said, "Thank you." He goes, "Sure would look nice, it sure wouldn't look nice impounded, now would it?" I said, "What are you guys talking about?" They said, "Follow me." So I followed them out, they put my boat in the boat lift, I go into the front side of my house, I got 5 officers sitting at my house. Now keep in mind, you know, I got a life, right? So now I've already got an hour, I'm trying to get work done, but I got 5 officers, so my neighbors are seeing all this all the time, and they're sick of it. So I walk outside, and I said, "Why are you guys here?" They said, "He made an allegation that, or no, Mocknick says that when you took off in your boat, that you got water all over the side of his boat and into his boat." Now, I got an inboard, all right? I do not have an outboard. So I said, I looked at the officer, and I go, "That's impossible." He goes, "Oh, I've seen it before." And what he's talking about is an outboard motor and how you trim it up and shoot water out. I'm like, so that's impossible. Well, the good thing is my security system has me pulling away. I showed Officer Toll, I showed Officer Ellers. Both of them said it's false. You could see my boat go away, and there's no way water even touched his boat, or even more went into his boat. Second thing, October 23rd. I know right now that there's a contentious relationship, and I do love loud music. I have been, warned on loud music, turn it down, and I'm paying, obviously, close attention. I canceled my end-of-the-year party this year because I didn't want problems, because I knew he'd call the police on me. Not that it gets crazy, but I just didn't want guests or the band. I put a band out, and I didn't want them to have to shut down, so I shut everything down. And I now know I have exterior sound system that the level is 30. 30 is acceptable. So I put everything on 30. I'm putting on my boots. I'm getting ready to go out. And before I even get outside, the police are at my door knocking. And I go, "What?" The officer goes, "Well, we got a complaint. The music's not too loud." Now, I'm telling you that the music's not too loud. Okay, I'm just letting you know he complained. I said, "If it's not too loud, why are you bothering me? Leave me alone." So it's a new officer. It's just like calling a cable company, and, you have to go through everything. So we walked down to the deck. I spent another hour and a half with him, and also when we were walking out of my property, he goes, "What's that?" I go, "What's what?" He goes, "That garbage can." So Mocknick moved his garbage can from where he normally keeps it to the front left side of my property line out by the road to antagonize me. And he goes, "You can't do that." I go, "Well, cite him." So then the other officer says, Officer Toll says, "I can't cite him because we'd have to cite you, you, and you because we could see your garbage cans." I'm like, "Ours are between our garage. You mean that 10-foot span of road?" So I'm like, fine. So in the meantime, I went to the state's attorney's office, and I talked to them about getting the camera that was coming right into my dining room window removed, and they said they needed a police report. So I worked outside in the yard the whole day. About 3 o'clock in the afternoon, 4 o'clock, whatever, I called, and I said, "I'd like the police to come," because the garbage can did not move. That's disobeying an officer. And the second thing is, I knew Mocknick was home, and I needed a police report to take to the state's attorney, who said then he can investigate it or pursue it. So, no call, no police came. Then all of a sudden, hour later, so I called dispatch, and I said, "Did you call them?" He goes, "What? They're not there?" And I said, "No." He goes, "Well, let me get on it." Nothing. So that was about 15 minutes before dark. I jump on my motorcycle, I go down to the station, and here is Officer Drexler, I believe his name is, a new officer. And he's standing outside. I go, "Officer, are you guys coming down?" He goes, "Yes, we're right in the middle of shift change. We'll be right down." They never showed up. However, (10:23, 16:26, 4:26 p.m. I, Officer Drexler, responded at 4:20 to speak to Tim because he complained to dispatch that Jim didn't bring the garbage container in yet. I was able to contact him after the ringing the doorbell twice. That never happened. And I subpoenaed the audio files, and I have proof that this is false. So now I got a false police report. Not only do I have false allegations against Mocknick, I got a false police report, and I have proof for it. Now the final thing is the broken court order. You'll see it in Jailbird Jimmy. I do have, let me take a step back. There's also a section in the town ordinance that's called false reports. So, why isn't anybody watching this? You know, this has been going on for 7 months, and I have not heard from the chief of police once. Not one phone call, nothing. No, can I help you in any way? Can I help solve this? Can I do anything? Nothing. And now, I got all these false reports, and it says right here, any person who transmit any manner of any offense committed knowing at the time, believing that such an offense has been committed, it's against the town ordinances. You can't do false. So, I'm doing the best I can to forget about the petty things. I can't ignore the police. The police are coming to my house wrongfully, and now I got him breaking a court order and plowing snow in front of my driveway. I need help, and so now it goes to the next steps. So this is what I'd like to propose, Mr. Hederman. I greatly appreciate everything you've done for me. I know our last meeting was not a good one. I owe you lunch.
No worries about it.
But as grown men, I know you and I can work through that. You have the power to appoint somebody. And I know if this is happening in the village, to me, I know it's happening somewhere else. All I'm suggesting is I would like to have a meeting with you, Claudette, any other board member that wishes to reside, even Mr. Clemstein, because he's part of the ordinance committee, but I also like the chief to sit in. The chief cannot be involved in this any longer. I don't know what he's been doing for 7 months, but I have not heard one thing from him. And then I'd like to consider everything, lay it out, consider some alternatives, and then you have the power to appoint somebody. I would be happy to volunteer myself as developing up the business processes, standard operating procedure for communications between the police, the village, and the board. The communication is terrible. It's non-existent. The citizens in village of Johnsburg are left wondering what's happening to the action they've taken. I'd be happy to spend time working on that with you. It's just, thinking out of the box. But with that, I've taken enough time, or as I say, I'm out of time, and if anybody has any questions. The one thing I would like is just a formal response from the board with the material that I presented, and an understanding of what the reason is for all the discrepancies.
Okay. No, you're right, you're out of time. You're 14 minutes over.
I'm sorry.
Okay, that's all right. But anyways, first you gotta understand that I cannot just say we're all gonna meet with you and the chief and Claudette. We can only have one trustee and one other person, okay? So, and I'm sure that the chief and Claudette, I think Claudette has offered to do this already.
Mm-hmm.
Hasn't she offered that meeting?
Yes.
To get together with me and the chief and one other person. So we've already extended that offer, and she is, you admit it, she is trying to work on everything that you have presented to her and get some answers for you.
Thank you.
But
if I may just make...
Claudette has already responded, I think, to you, right?
I know I'm out of time, Ed, but here's the thing, is when I kept asking for the 3 citations, Claudette rationalized and said, I think Mr. Hederman meant notice of violation. And as you're well aware, when we had breakfast that morning, you quite adamantly told me if I said citations were written. So I can't have somebody else rationalize away your actions. And so that's why I wanted to just kind of set the story straight with the board, because there's got to be accountability. I mean, I sat since August 19th knowing that there weren't any citations written, and everybody's moving forward, and mock mixed behavior continues. So that's, I mean, it's going to get sticky, Mr. Hederman.
We're pointing fingers. We already told you about I don't know who gave the 2 weeks extension. I know it's going to Woodstock, so that must have been the judge that gave a 2 weeks extension, right, Keith?
The citation is going to be through the administrative adjudication.
Oh, it is?
It is.
Okay. And that's just to keep it local, but I mean,
I'd like
so...
to volunteer to be a part of that. If you need another trustee, I'd be happy to
Well,
be a part of that meeting.
okay. Let's see where we're going with Greg. Greg, you've already been before the ordinance committee. Greg's been part of that. But Mary Lou wants to take it instead of Greg.
Just offering.
No, and I appreciate that. so.
Well, thank you,
But we've
everyone.
already offered that meeting, and,
Can I ask one question?
yes, go
What's
ahead.
the difference between a notice of violation and a citation?
Well, I took it out, I thought the notice of violation and the citation were the same thing, okay? And that's
And
where
they
I
are
screwed
different?
up.
They are
They're
different, yes. Under the public nuisance, chapter 12, notice of violations must be given. That's under the public nuisance.
Must be given prior to a citation?
Thank you, John. If you have any questions, I can answer any more.
Then why wasn't I given a notice of violation?
Mr. Anderson, you were charged under chapter 43. Chapter 12 is public nuisance. Under public nuisances, we have to issue a notice of violation to the offender or the offending property. You were charged under 43 with battery.
Oh, I'm glad you spoke up. It's the first time in 7 months. Thank you. Thank you, everyone.
Thanks, Tim.
Thanks, Tim.
Okay. On the omnibus agenda, do we have a motion to approve the omnibus agenda?
So moved.
We have a motion by trustee Heeman, seconded by trustee Frost. Discussion on the motion? Trustee Frost, trustee Hutchison? No? No, Mary Lou? No. If there being none on the roll, trustee Hutchison?
Aye.
Trustee Frost?
Aye.
Trustee Heeman?
Aye.
Trustee Curry?
Aye.
Trustee McAvoy?
Aye.
Motion carried. I have nothing to report under the president's report. New business. I'm going to ask if anybody had a meeting, if they would like to update on anything. I think over the holidays, the meeting's been pretty good.
I did.
I know Kyle has had a meeting, so.
Yeah, we had our meeting, we got the quote for the new signs, for the 30 new signs, the 3x3, the bigger ones, like the sample over there. Street signs.
Street signs?
Yeah. Ram Metal Works sent it in to Claudette, just waiting for approval and we'll start ordering parts,
Okay.
so that's good.
Okay. Any other committee reports?
I only have a very small thing. Tim put together some real rough data for me to present to the property owner that we're talking to as our first step to see if we can work out this potential sign out at the Prairie Commerce Center. So I'm going to be, I've presented that, I'm going to be presenting that information to the property owner tomorrow morning. But I've got word that he's okay with it. He will do whatever the village wants to do, but I want him to see it before we start talking to the property owners and get his okay, because they can't do anything with this thing unless we get an easement from him on that property. So I need his really okay face-to-face, man-to-man before I do that, and then we're going to start talking to the property owners out there, see what level of interest that they've got in it, and hopefully we'll get some positive responses from them, because if we can't get a preponderance of people out there that agree with the concept, then it's really going to die on the vine. I hate to see that, because the signage out there is a time bomb waiting to happen. The county's going to be ripping them out, and I'm surprised they haven't told us to rip them out, because there's at least 4 signs out there that are in violation, or in the county's right of way right now. And it's a shame, because those businesses won't have any signage out there. And we've got some valuable businesses in there that need some identification for them to help them make their businesses grow and prosper. So I'm hoping we can get everybody in sync with this. And there's a lot to be worked out yet. But we're going to take it slow, step by step, make sure everybody can digest the little things before we move on to the next thing, so we don't overstep our bounds like we did with the present it like we did with the downtown. And so we'll see how everybody participates out there.
Well, you're working with the landowner, the property owner, and
Right
trying
now.
to get a easement.
See if he
for the
will
sign.
agree to an easement as presented by Tim on a drawing that I have.
I did a site distance study to show if people were sitting at the stop bars, at what point would people coming from the north and heading north and coming into town, would they be able to see this? It'd be silly to create this beautiful sign and then it would be blocked by power poles and/or cars trying to get out of the development. So we went out there, took some measurements, I gave John a drawing so we could tell this property owner, we're looking, so many feet south of the road, and how big a sign would be seen at 55 miles an hour.
Yeah, that's gonna be the challenge. We're probably gonna, if we can get some sort of an agreement on this, we're gonna have to work out a size element that's probably gonna exceed the approvals of our sign ordinance, so we're probably gonna have to ask for a variation. That's just our gut check right now, because there's a number of businesses out there, and it may be taller than what, we like our low pedestal signs, but this is a directional sign, a wayfinding sign for all the businesses in the park, which will be a little bit different scenario.
You have a ton of businesses back there.
Right. Yeah. So, that's
Just
where
out
we're
of
at.
curiosity, Tim, maybe, I don't know, does our ordinance address wayfinding signs? I mean, or-
Wayfinding signs?
Yeah, is that a different, is that more of a deal all by itself? I mean, because several towns have them where you have several businesses where they, list all the businesses. I mean, I don't think that would even come under our sign ordinance as far as
I
I'm
don't think
not.
we have that kind of detail. That was something we have in a future task. Now that we have the downtown plan that an ordinance committee could undertake, is wayfinding, thematics, all kind of.
That would be a downtown specific ordinance rather than something on a 50-mile-an-hour
See, in this
highway.
one, the subdivision's already done, and this isn't it's not the property owner coming in for a one-off. This represents the whole area.
Right.
And so, there's small businesses, medium, large. This sign could have 50 pieces on it, which
Right.
nobody would be able to read unless you stopped and then went down in alphabetical order.
Well, if we have the main address out there and they slow down to say, I know I've got the address, now I need to know where
That's
they,
what we were
which building
thinking,
they're in.
was Prairie Commerce Center, Village of Johnsburg, maybe the highlighted road names that are in there.
And the street
maybe-
numbers.
And the street numbers, and maybe 4 or 5 of the bigs that would sponsor it, want to maintain it and take care of it. And then as you come into the subdivision at the intersections,
You get the
have a nice looking wayfinding sign that says,
Right.
here's who's in here.
Right.
Down this little road,
Go
there's
left, go right.
8 here, 6 here,
Yeah.
4 here. I think that would be very effective. With Google Maps and with Garmin and all that, it'll get you there, but it sure would help to
Yeah,
say,
for sure.
they're down this way. We presented 4 or 5 rough sketches, like John said. No sense in spending time, money,
Right.
getting budgets if the property owner says, no, thank you.
Right.
I think that, when we addressed the monument signs, the whole idea was that was for individual businesses, of how to keep it attractive, and that we didn't have all kinds of signs in there.
Right.
And that was the idea of that, but I don't think we ever meant it for a situation like this. I mean, it's a
I'm
unique.
not sure how it reads.
If you drive down Spring Grove Road, keep going down Spring Grove Road, and the first where Sports Decals is, those are all industrial, like incubator type buildings. You will see what I think John, in some form or fashion, is talking about, because I drove past, I'm like, that's what he's thinking, because it has, they're like 2 foot by 1 foot with, I'll say,
Everything listed.
everybody
Unit
listed.
numbers, right?
So
Yeah,
again,
number of-
somewhere in between that
Mhm.
and what we're talking about, a nice monument sign that's easily readable, that will get you to the Prairie Commerce.
So the first hurdle is to get the property owner to agree
Yeah,
to it.
I mean, I'm hoping that we can create a partnership with the property owners to make this happen somehow, somewhere. We don't know to what extent that's gonna be, but we need to talk about it.
And if people don't want to participate, the other option is talk to the Hillers across the street, get a 10 by 10 outside the county right away, and put a couple of, like I said, because I think it's Firehouse Gym and Spring Grove Tire, or 8 Tire, whatever it is, at least get something in there to say,
They're gonna be challenged with that, if I know them.
There is a lot of businesses in there.
There is, it's really confounded. I drove it with these
Yeah,
guys
yeah.
and we went back in there and
Right.
it's really
And there's some
confounded.
good,
I mean, there's a
there's some
lot
good
of-
service businesses that provide
Right.
good services to the residents, so we'll see. That's where we're at.
Okay.
Trustee Curry, anything you wanna bring up?
Hoping it gets cold again so we can go skating.
Yeah, this is skating rink.
Ice rink's a little sloppy.
Working right now.
Tomorrow.
Yeah, right now, it's, temperature's going down.
Yeah, it's a little sloppy right now, but, no, that's about it right now.
Update on the boat ramp?
I took a ride out there, and I needed to call Sean tomorrow. I'd like to get an update from him with regard to the vendor. The coffer dam is in, and looks like they got the old ramp out. They got some aggregate there. Looks like they're getting ready to, pour the new ramp. The old pier is gone. So I need to get an update from Sean. I'll call Sean.
Before it gets brutally cold again.
Yeah, well, talking with him, they were kind of waiting
For the
They
water.
want to get that done, and then they want to wait for it to get a good freeze so they could maybe work on the ice to get the new pier in. So, I'll give Sean a call tomorrow.
What's the temperature you can pour at? What's the lowest temperature you can pour at?
You can pour well below freezing when you add
All depends on what you put in.
calcium chloride, but we don't
More
like doing
chloride,
that
of course,
because
the
we
weaker
don't.
the concrete is though, right?
Right.
Yeah, we don't like doing that because it affects the reinforcement and things, but we got a good game plan, we got good contractors, Swiderski Concrete's on it. The contractor is well within his, the substantial complete is March. So quite honestly, you could wait till mid-March and let it rip.
Okay.
But he wanted to jump on it because we had good weather. And the coffer dam was in, he had it pumped out, and we ran into sloppy material. And if they have a game plan, we're gonna over-excavate it, bond in some aggregate, so that's on site.
It's good timing right now, nobody's using it, so. As long as,
So
We're
tomorrow,
not rushing.
17 below zero.
as long as like April 1st,
Yeah.
April 15th rolls around, and somebody can put their boat in, and
Fishermen?
Well, the beautiful part of it is we left the ice on it, we left the snow on it, which then the frost couldn't penetrate into the subgrade where we'd be actually doing work. So when they're ready to start, they'll bust it out and
Good.
there won't be any frost in it, so it'll be good shape.
other than that, the roads are clean, and
Yeah,
we have no snow in the future, so.
everything's good?
The remaining top portion of the sign should be going on this week,
Oh,
which is,
Public Works.
which it says Public Works Facility, that's backlit, and then the top piece with the arch, with the village logo and the handshake, which is lit by a LED strip up. So that'll go on in the next week here. We were told the first week in January, so.
Yeah, I looked at that today, almost looks a little naked there, because it's just,
You're
It looks
not
like,
doing any of the masonry till spring,
Not
right?
this spring,
Yeah.
because I don't want to use
Yeah.
calcium chloride, and
We
it
can
just ruins the,
Do you have a lift pump failure over in Running Brook today?
Yes,
if they did, I was not
Yes.
made aware of it.
there was,
I saw them pulling it out.
yeah. Seems like that happens every Christmas, at Running Brook, we have a lift pump problem. Or every New Year's, I don't know. Somebody throws their underwear in there or something.
Is that is that being analyzed to see if that's premature failures, if there's a reason why that's going on, or the?
Yes, when it happens, a day or two later, Davey does call me and we talk about it, so usually it's a float or one of the impellers that's
Clogged.
a foreign object, which is.
So it's not a
supposed to
main,
be
it's
flush.
not a main motor failure, no, good.
Any other questions? With that, I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
Someone?
Second?
Motion to adjourn by Mary Lou, seconded by trustee Heeman. Sorry, trustee Hutchinson, trustee Heeman.
Right.
Trustee McAvoy,
Aye.
trustee Curry, trustee Heeman, trustee Ross, trustee Hutchinson. Aye, 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 aye.